beautiful souls. So today's video, I have let kind of marinate in my mind and in my heart for a while. And finally today, kind of sitting down just after eating breakfast and, after a few clients this morning, the specific ideas and parts from the A Course in Miracles all kind of came together in this beautiful way. So I really look forward to sharing today's idea with you. So the place that I really wanted to start with this is with the question, what is time for? Okay, we're all here in this time-space continuum. We all have 24 hours in a day. We all have 365 days in a week. So in a year. And so what is time for? What is all this time for? So Jesus clearly is very sharp on this manner. But the quotes that I'm going to be reading from today are found in the Circle of Atonement version of the A Course in Miracles. So there's a lot more depth and juiciness in many aspects of this, especially in the miracle principles. And I'm literally going through each miracle one by one. Each miracle principle one by one. So this is extracted from there, and it's actually found in the footnotes. So this is what Jesus says about what is time for. He says, time was made so you could use it creatively and convince yourself of your own ability to create. Time is a teaching device and a means to an end. Okay? So ultimately, the end is when we all return as oneself with our Creator and we reside in eternity heaven with God, and then time has no use. But while we are here in time, it's for creativity. Right? It's to allow ourselves through our own creative abilities to learn that we are creative. And in that sense, we learn of our Creator. Right? So this is the whole point, learning who I am in relationship to my universe and in relationship to God. And that's what time is for. So I felt like that was really simplified, and I'm so resonates with me in my life and my world. But then I wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper, right? So why would we want to use time creatively, right? Why? And Jesus, again, is very clear on this idea. He says that we are not to be a slave to time or waste time or feel overwhelmed by not having enough time. Instead, he says things like we are here to be a host to God, right? So to create like God, to share a will with God and to allow ourselves to give to the creative soul in another, to have that equal exchange. So we are asked to live life to the fullest, to use time to the fullest and not waste it. And he was very, very specific about not wasting time. He even has, I didn't write down the number, but I had started reading from it weeks ago. He says here, so principle 25, miracles depend on timing. This is why you shouldn't waste time. And just as a little note, this is also why I created, last time I made a video, I created the Miracle Morning. It's because that is my way to not waste time, or part of my way not to waste time. That when I start my day right and give my mind to God and allow my first actions to be in accordance with God's will, then I am allowing myself to use time constructively. And there I'm much more placed in the position to save time through miracles than waste time through mistakes or distraction or just not fulfilling my role in God's plan. So this is a really, really important idea. We don't want to waste time. We want to use time creatively, and we want to use time to the fullest. Okay, so with that being said, it's kind of well, what is it that we can do to save time? We all want to save time. We all want more time with our family. We all want more time to finish the things we love to do. We want more time to be in the sunlight and to enjoy our time. So how do we save time exactly, right? So Jesus says that miracles help us to save time, you guys. So on page 44, this is where I'm going to read a few paragraphs to you, because he goes really in depth into this idea that miracles help us to save time, and that this is our role. This is what we're here for, right? So this is now Miracle Principle 48 on page 44 of the Circle of Atonement. He says, the miracle is the only device which you have at your immediate disposal for controlling time. You want to save time? Work miracles, my friend. That is the only thing, the only device that we have at our immediate, right now, disposal for controlling time. Okay, and there's other parts in here where he says that you are already able to work miracles. You just have to be willing. Okay, you are already able. You just have to be willing. For me, setting up my morning rite, saying, God, I give this to you, that's me being willing. That's why it's so super important. So let me read through a few things here. I'm going to jump to the second paragraph and read from there because it really speaks to these ideas, you guys. So, while you are in a body, you can choose between loveless or miraculous channels of creativity. You can make an empty shell, but you do not make nothing at all. You can wait, delay, paralyze yourself, reduce your creativity almost to nothing, and even induce a real developmental arrest or regression. But you cannot abolish your creativity. You can destroy your medium of communication, but not your potential. The potential is always there. Cannot destroy your potential. You were not created by your own free will. Only what you make is yours to decide. Okay, I'm going to pause there for a second because there's a lot of juiciness in here. But this is super important. You were not created by your own free will. We are created by God. It's God's will that we are learning to come into accord with. It is our own free will to decide if we are going to fulfill God's will or our own will. That's where free will comes from, the ability to be free to decide what it is that we do here. But God created us, right? So we are here to learn that we are creators. And the only way that we can learn that we are creators is to create like Him. And the only way to create like Him is to learn to listen to His voice and let Him direct us in every single thing we do each day. And he says many times too, it's the miracles, like the action of miracles that brings about conviction in our ability to work miracles, right? So we will only have that conviction in our ability to work miracles after we ask and receive and we do. So this is really super important, right? He's saying that we cannot abolish our ability to create, but we can almost like pretend it's not there. We can paralyze ourselves. We can delay our ability to create and just focus on the mundane everyday tasks of life. But what he's really asking us to do is devote our time and focus to our function, which is to create like Him. And so in all of this, it's almost bringing to our awareness that like we have a part to play that has action associated with it. And that is determined by God, like the voice in our mind to direct us very specifically as to what we are supposed to do. So he continues to say here, the basic decision of the miracle-minded is not to wait on time any longer than is necessary. Like we're not waiting for some future date for us to be ready to create. We have the ability to create now. Like we have all learned specific skills. We have all learned specific talents. We all have specific gifts that we are here to give, right? Some people are geniuses when it comes to art. Some people are geniuses when it comes to computers. Some people are geniuses when it comes to food. Some people are geniuses when it comes to being a teacher. Some people are genius when it comes to fixing things. Like we all have a genius in skills and talents. And it's a matter of pinpointing what that is and allowing ourselves to be directed in that way. Because remember, God's will is perfect happiness. So when we are creating, that is when we are in that space of flow and we literally can be happy. And then it's only through that we are able to serve our brothers and serve the sonship in our greatest capacity possible. So we want to get in touch with this inner place of creativity. So he also says, time can waste as well as be wasted. The miracle worker therefore accepts the time control factor of the miracle gladly because he knows that every collapse of time brings everyone closer to the ultimate release from time, in which the Son and the Father are one, or of one kind. Now this is important, listen to this. The real meaning of one kind is of one mind or will, like we share one will with God. And since God's will is only giving, we are asked to give from our creative center out into the world. Like that's God's will, right? When the will of the Sonship and the Father are one, their perfect accord is heaven. How beautiful, how beautiful. And then he says, Then he says over here, you do have special talents which are needed for the celestial speed up of time. Okay, so we all, like that's what I just said, like we all have special talents which are needed for the celestial speed up of time. And he says, but do not underestimate the power of special agents now, or the great need there is for them. Okay, let me read that again. Do not underestimate the power of special agents now, or the great need there is for them. So special agents are anything, any expression of creativity and any expression of love. Okay, we have great need for them here, and there is a great need for us to fulfill it here now. So it's not a matter of distracting ourselves, watching too much TV, just being, working like dogs and coming home and doing what we don't love. Like, if we don't love what we do, we need to change it. Period. Like, love is the power of the universe, and we need to follow that love and joy. Doesn't mean we're not going to work. I mean, salvation is a big part of work. I'm working my ass off every single day for my function and for creativity and for what it is that I'm meant to do here. But it's always making sure that we are enjoying it. And if we're not enjoying it, we need to do something that we enjoy. And it might not be that you can leave immediately, but you need to start asking to fulfill your function in a way that brings you joy. Start focusing your spare moments that you do have on the things that you do love to do, and continue to cultivate that building of the skill, the building of the talent, the building of the gift that you have to give to this world. That is our function. That is what we're meant to do here. So he also says here, in other words, just because we are ultimately equal does not mean that we have the same talents and make the same contributions to the atonement now. In heaven, however, we have the exact strength. Yes, exactly. So we will all have different talents. That's what I'm saying. This is why we all need each other. This is so absolutely, absolutely important. So let me give you a practical example of this, okay? Like, for me in my life, like, what I have learned over the years is I have a few talents. My one talent is doing A Course in Miracles videos and understanding the Course and bringing it into my life. So I'm really powerful when it comes to understanding mindset, how to see the world and how to show up in the world as God would have us be. So mindset, that is a talent and a skill of mine, and I've honed it very well. Okay, another talent and a skill of mine is cooking. Like, when Tom and I were traveling for 10 years, I would find that friends and people that we didn't even know would open up their homes to us. And so when we would go and we would live with these people, they literally were our family. Like, they knew who I was from videos, and I knew who they were as a child of God, but we got to know each other in time. And while we spent that precious time together, I felt like my way to contribute and to give and to be creative was in the kitchen. And so I literally learned all these different techniques and learned how to cook in all these different kitchens in all these different ways. And it became a deep passion of mine, a skill that I've really, really developed and I absolutely love to do. And so when it came time for me to step into my role here on this planet and more crystallized beyond just making videos and traveling and flying by the seat of my pants, the vision was given to me that I'm here to help people like myself to learn how to bring the power of mindset and wholesome cooking into their home. Right. And this is where I started to realize a whole and healthy kitchen was a big part of my part. Right. Because at that time when I learned this, I had a young child. She was like 1.5, 2, maybe. And I realized how important it was for me to care for this growing body, and how it is for me to learn how to use my time constructively in order to be able to do all the things that I was doing each day, taking care of a home, doing a business, being with my daughter, being with my family. Like, it takes a lot of structuring of time. And so I realized in asking for my greater part was that this was it. And it took me a while to tease away how it is that I can do this in the most helpful way. And the visions that were given me, you guys, is that, the work that we are asked to do here creatively can be a job, and I'll tell you why, okay? First of all, like, let's say I go over to a neighbor's house, right? Or I'm with these friends that I was traveling with and seeing and going into their home. We can spend time together on their couch and have conversations and heal and experience miracles and like have deep, deep, beautiful soul connections. And like, there's no way in a million, thousand, billion years I would ever charge for anything like this. There are times when I like read sacred stuff from the Course in Miracles, like right now. There's no way in a billion years that I would charge money for this. But there's something that gets different when it's not just me and the camera or me and a beautiful being. What happens when we ask for our creative part and something is channeled through me creatively that I can then give away to many, 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 many people, which is ultimately the goal, to give all to all, right? We're learning how to give something to everyone. Then that is when we need other people to help. This is when we need a bigger ability to reach people. We need to be able to package it in a way that can be reached by those people. And that is when something gets turned into a business. Like, that's what a business is for. Right? That is what branding is for, right? So you can really reach the people that these gifts are for. So through Whole and Healthy Kitchen, I've been able to learn how to see business through the eyes of love and to realize that this act of like exchanging money is a blessed thing. Like God has given us everything. We are abundant in the kingdom. There's nothing he has not given us. So he is going to write upon our heart the skills and the gifts and the talents to allow that exchange to be, because that's what's in time right now, you guys. Yet everything I'm doing through Whole and Healthy Kitchen and Miracles of Mind is to bring that moment of end of time closer, right? So the purpose is still the same, but it involves money sometimes. And this is where we need to kind of like tease things away, is realize like, okay, the effort and the time and the focus that I'm putting into something to create something for the masses means that I'm going to need to be able to bring this to the masses. I need to turn this into a business, and that is when we can then bring integrity and the laws of God and the truth of God and the peace of God and the vision of God into these things such as business that have been so contorted along the way. And so for me, this is where I've really had to learn how to leap out of fear is by doing something like this, stepping out of my comfort zone, letting myself be led in business, letting myself be guided in business, and learning what this really looks like. So in all honesty, you guys, to me, in my mind, there is no separation between doing Miracles of Mind and doing Whole and Healthy Kitchen. And there's some times with Miracles of Mind where it's just a gift. And there's sometimes with Whole and Healthy Kitchen where it's just a gift. And sometimes with Miracles of Mind, there's going to be money involved. And sometimes with Whole and Healthy Kitchen, there's going to be money involved. And the means for that are a little bit different, right? But this is super important information for us to remember. Okay, so it's not about doing something creatively and not getting money for it. It's doing something creatively and asking the Lord how it is that I can make money through it, right? And it won't be all the time, but when it is time, it's time, okay? So that's the point I wanted to get across. And so this leaves us with one thing, like, how do we save time and create? Just like, what did I go through? Like, how did I receive my purpose and my part to create, right? To do something that I love every single day and just so happen to make money at it, right? So this is what it is, you guys. Join the Great Crusade. Join the Great Crusade. Join the Great Crusade. Join the Great Crusade. Now, what does this mean? Okay? I'll tell you what it means. No, Jesus will tell you what it means. Let me go to this page. But really, like, our good intentions are not enough. Okay? Like, we have a specific part to play. And he says here, the purpose of the atonement is to restore everything to you. That means abundantly as well, right? To restore everything to you. That is to restore your awareness of everything. You had everything when you were created, just as everyone did. Having been restored to this original state, you naturally become a part of the atonement yourself. You now share my inability to tolerate the lack of love in yourself and in everyone else. And you must join the Great Crusade to correct it. He's saying that once you recognize like that you want to join the atonement and say yes to miracles and be a miracle worker because you're studying a Course in Miracles, I hope that that's what you're here for. Like, then he's saying that you literally get to the point where you share his inability to tolerate lack of love in yourself and in everyone else. So you must join the Great Crusade to correct it. He says the slogan for the crusade is listen, learn, do. Listen, learn, do. 3 parts. That's it. He said this means listen to my voice, listen to the voice of Jesus, learn to undo error, correct it / forgive, right? And then do something to correct it. That's action, right? Do something to correct it. You see a problem in the world, ask for the solution so you can give it. It's not a matter of denying the problems in the world and pretending there is no problem. It's recognizing that all problems stems from the same place. And if I accept the miracle in my mind for that, I can give the correction because the miracle is the answer. Right? So he's saying the first 2, listening and learning, are not enough. The real members of my party are active workers. The real members of my party are active workers. Just let that settle for a second. So he even says, like, the power to work miracles belongs to you. I will arrange the right opportunities for you to do them, but you must be ready and willing to do them since you are already able. Doing them will bring conviction in your ability. That's what I said earlier, right? Doing them will bring conviction in your ability. I repeat. And he says, I repeat, because this is the first sentence that he gives Helen in this whole book, but it's taken out of the other editions. He says, I repeat, you will see miracles through your hands, through mine. Jesus says, you will see miracles through your hands, through mine, right? Oh, like this is, so deep, so good. And so this is what he's saying. Like, he also says here, right? Like, souls cannot rest until everyone has found salvation. Clearly, not everyone on this earth has found salvation, so we are not done doing yet. Okay, but we have to listen and learn before we do, you guys, right? But you must know that the doing, the action, the creativity is part of that. And this is what I wanted to kind of drill home, and it's what's been drilled home in me, and what enables me to do my part is that I listened long enough. You guys know that. I learned long enough. You guys know that. And now I'm ready to do. And you guys have been on this journey with me for so long. I know you've been listening. I know you've been learning, and I commend you for those efforts. And a lot of you are also doing, because I've seen it, and you reach out to me and you're doing amazing, and I'm so proud of you, and you know who you are. But there's also some of us who can step a little bit more into the doing and a little bit more into the action through guidance. Okay, you're not doing this by yourself. So I'll leave you with 2 questions before I close out for today, okay? The first one is, what are you doing each day on behalf of God? So you can ask that to yourself and write it down. What am I doing each day on behalf of God? Not just on behalf of yourself or on behalf of the laws of the world, because you got to have money to have a roof over your head, or, to do it for whatever reason. Like, what are you doing on behalf of God every single day? And number 2, what is your time spent on? Like, you need to kind of examine all the areas and where you're wasting time, and be like, where is my time being spent on? Because he wants us to spend our time on our purpose, on our creativity, on our function, on our gifts, on giving. That's where our time needs to be spent every single day. So, beautiful souls, those are the questions we can ask ourselves. These are the things that we can kind of settle into and remember and be like, yes, like, this is what I can do. There's another step here. And as we do, and as we give, and as we create, we will receive, and we will learn, and we will have that conviction that miracles are in me and could be worked through Jesus's hands through me. Okay. So if you guys want like demonstrations of this, just look at the stuff I've been working on. Ask me any questions. Reach out below. I've got links below to Whole and Healthy Kitchen. I've got links below to the Miracle Mindset, the Miracle Morning, which I have created for you guys. I just feel like this is a huge thing that we are all learning and doing together, but that we can keep each other inspired and energized and excited to do God's will and to listen, learn, and do every single day. Okay, so I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen. Our time is precious. And I hope that this has helped you to save time and not waste it anymore, which we're all learning to do. So thank you. God bless you. See you soon.